All right, so welcome back to Single Supper and Suds, as I like to call it, for lack of a better name. My name's Ron. If it's the first time you're seeing this, welcome. So just really quickly, the gist of this video series is I'm single, I work a full-time job, I'm busy, got a lot going on, so a lot of times I come home from work after working all day, tired, maybe don't feel like cooking a meal. So the easy thing to do is to go out and eat, grab fast food, whatever. Two problems with that. Number one, it's expensive to go out and eat. And number two, it's not very healthy. But it's really easy to do and it's real habit forming. So I try not to do that as much as possible through the week. I do go out and eat sometimes on the weekends. But through the week, I try to cook as little as possible. So when I do cook, I try to maximize the time spent in the kitchen to have some quick, easy meals after preparing, say, an entree. Like last segment, I fixed a pork loin and some potatoes. Fantastic meal. If you haven't seen that, go back and check it out. The other thing that I do on this video series is that I like to try some beer. So I'm a beer drinker, not a big drinker, but I do like to try different types of beers, flavor those, kind of sample them, and also pair those with the types of meals that I'm preparing. So tonight we're going to fix a meal with leftover pork loin from a last segment. And we're going to try another offering by Michelob. Yesterday, we tried Michelob Ultra. Tonight, we're trying Michelob Ultra Pure Gold. Now, this is advertised as an organic light lager. So that's kind of unique, an organic. If that's your thing, might be your beer. Okay, this is also a light, so it's a low carb, low calorie beer. Again, if you're a calorie counter, carb counter, this might be the beer that you're looking for. I have had this beer once, so it kind of be a little bit of a reintroduction for me because I've had one beer one time, and to be honest with you, I don't remember that much about it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the recipe first, and we're going to try a little Michelob Ultra Pure Gold. So fixed the pork loin yesterday. I actually cut that in thirds. I'm going to take the part of that and I'm going to put that meat, that leftover pork, in a nice skillet. Now, guys, you can heat this up in the microwave and make it even quicker. I kind of like to heat it up on the stove. What we're going to do this evening is we're actually going to make a delicious wrap with this pork. Okay, actually, I'm probably going to make two of them because I'm kind of hungry. So what I like to do, I actually use just a touch of oil. You can use olive oil. Works really good. Obviously, again, olive oil is probably a healthy choice for oils. And I like to just saute this just a little bit, warm it up, okay? I'm not trying to really cook this meat. It's already been cooked. We're just trying to warm it up. Now, something that I want to tell you that I did this weekend, I fixed breakfast. I'm a breakfast guy. And I think we'll probably do some special segments where I show you some of my breakfast ideas and how I actually kind of use some of that to have quick, easy meals through the week as well. One of the things that I fixed this weekend was bacon, guys. Anytime you fix bacon, fix a little extra, okay? So I like bacon. If you're a health nut, you might not want to be eating a lot of bacon. I don't eat a ton of bacon. a pound of bacon goes a long way with me, but I got a few slices I fixed extra that I kept back. So we're gonna use that. I got a couple tortillas here. I got a nice ripe red tomato that we're gonna slice. I have some cheese. Now this was kind of a Kraft cheese. Actually, it was called Kraft Beer Cheddar. You can use any kind of cheese you want to. You can use a cheddar cheese. You can use a sort of like a pepper jack, something like that. Whatever kind of is your thing. Hey, you can go anywhere, any direction you want on this little meal. So, keeping with the spirit of this video series, I did work today. I mean, it's 10 after 6. Just kind of got home from work, took care of my dogs, fed my horses. Bam, I'm down here to fix a little dinner because I'm hungry. So again, I got a couple tortilla shells while our meat's warming up. I'm gonna take a couple slices of tomato. If you don't like tomato, well, skip the tomato, okay? So we're gonna take a couple slices of this ripe red tomato. I'm gonna show you that, there we go. And the other thing we're gonna use for a wrap, I like baby spinach. Now, you can use lettuce, you can use romaine, you can use kind of that butter lettuce as they call it. I like a little spinach in my wrap. So that meat's gonna be perfectly cooked, I guarantee it. Okay, again, I'm really not trying to cook the meat, I'm just trying to warm that meat up. So it's as simple as this, guys. I've got a couple tortilla shells. I'm gonna load those up with some pork. My dogs are praying I drop something on the floor. Okay? So, got that warmed up. I'm gonna throw a little bit of cheese in here. Okay? That should melt real nice on top of our warm pork. I'm gonna put a couple slices of bacon on each wrap. We're gonna throw a couple slices of tomato on each wrap. Okay. A little bit of baby spinach. And guys, that quick, we have dinner. All right. So we have two fantastic wraps made with pork loin, spinach, tomato, cheese, bacon, and a little topper, a little bit of ranch dressing. Okay. Now, here's what's great, guys. You can add to or take away from that any way you want, all right? So we're gonna sample this. I will give you one hint on this, a tip. It's kind of good to use the extra large tortillas on this. I made 2 of these, and I tell you, it's probably too much. So it's good to use the extra large tortillas. You can wrap them up a little bit better than what I did. But hey, I used what I had. And guys, that is fantastic. So what we've done, in keeping with the spirit of the whole thing, is that I fixed a pork loin last night. I spent over an hour preparing that meal. Tonight, I started this thing, I told you it was 10 after 6. It's 14 after 6. And dinner's ready. And it's really good. It's relatively healthy. And guys, we're maximizing our time spent in the kitchen. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you used that idea. It is really, really, really good. So let's talk about Michelob Ultra Pure Gold Organic Light Lager. So listen, guys, about all beer is brewed with the same ingredients, right? You got grain, you got wheat, barley, the malt barley, hops, and of course yeast, which is fermentation process. But those things are done in kind of different amounts. They might use grains, different types of barley. They're grown in different parts of the country. This obviously, if it's true to the name, was brewed with organic grain, hops, etc. So the first thing I'll do, I like to always get a little of that aroma. Take in some of that beer. Not an overwhelming aroma to it. A little bit of that grain. I can smell that grain in there. But we'll take a taste of this and see what we think. So one of the things I hadn't talked about in the previous videos that we put out is sometimes to really appreciate a beer, you got to kind of forget about the first swallow, right? The first drink that you take a drink, kind of let that settle on your palate, right? Take a few minutes. You really appreciate and get more of that flavor comes through when you take your second drink. And as I talked about before, for me personally, when you're talking about beer, the finish is one of the most important parts for me. A lot of beer have a really bitter finish and it really lingers with you for a while. I don't particularly care for that. A lot of people really love that bitter flavor. It's not my thing per se. So we're gonna take another drink of this Michelob Ultra Pure Gold. Definitely get a better sense of this beer with the second taste. Now what I can tell you about this beer is that it's a light beer, so it's not going to be quite as full flavored as some of the other offerings out there. But obviously I can taste that grain and hops, but it's mild. It's a lighter flavor, and there's really not a bitter follow through at all. One of the things it kind of has though that I notice on this beer is it's a little dry. And if you understand what I mean by that, you know, if you're a wine drinker or other types of drinks, it's kind of dry. Like some white wines are really a dry. They kind of have that dry feel to them. And this beer really kind of does that, which is interesting to me, that I have that dryness. It definitely does. So that's kind of interesting, a little bit different. It's a little light on flavor for me, but the flavor that's there is good. It is a little dry. There's no bitter finish on the beer, which is good for me. I don't like that. So the finish is good. There's nothing really lingering on my palate. So this is a nice beer. And I think it is go good with this dish, because this is, you know, I'm trying to eat a little bit healthy here. And if you like stuff at Subway, you guys ever eat at Subway? Screw Subway. This is way better. Much better meal, and cheaper. So, and you got a nice cold beer to go with it. So I hope you enjoyed this segment tonight. We got a fantastic pork wrap. I'm gonna take another bite of this because this thing, it's delicious actually. So, guys, I hope that you're enjoying this. If you're enjoying what we're doing here, I appreciate it if you would give us a like, subscribe, so when the next video comes out, you'll get to see that right off the bat. Hey, share it with your friends. Tell them about it if you like what you see. So, next episode, I'm going to show you what I do with the rest of the pork tomorrow night. Until then, I'm out.